A couple of months ago, my daughter and I were in a car accident. I had just picked her up from her father's. We pulled out of the parking spot, got to a light. We were going to make a left-hand turn, and somebody rear-ended us. Now, luckily, obviously, we're all okay, and it was not that bad. But in that moment, I had to swallow my emotion. My daughter was in the car, the dog was in the car. I had to talk to the guy who hit us. In that moment, I had to swallow all the emotions that just came up. I wanted to cry, I wanted to scream, I wanted to yell, but my daughter was crying, my dog was going crazy, and like I said, I needed to make sure they were all okay, and I had to go get the information from the other person. But it wasn't until about 2 days later, after I got home, my partner and I were talking, and he said something kind of like irrelevant, and I just lost my fucking shit. Just broke down and I started freaking out, and it all had to do with the car accident. It was completely irrelevant to this actual situation, but because I swallowed those emotions and I stored them all the way deep down, I didn't allow myself to express them in that moment. And so they came out really ugly afterwards. And now I know there are times where we all have experienced heightened emotions, but for some reason in that moment we had to swallow them, or we felt like we were not in a safe space to express ourselves. But that's what emotional regulation in DBT is all for. It's about helping you manage and understand that those emotions all have a function. They're there for a reason. But sometimes it could be hard to manage them. It could be hard to understand what they're telling us. And DBT gives you a handful of different acronyms to understand and remember all the different tools they give you. And today we're going to talk about VITALS, also known as VITALS for Success. V stands for validate yourself. So when you're feeling heightened emotions, it's so fucking crucial that you validate yourself. Our emotions are not always accurate, but we feel the way we feel for a reason. Our emotions are valid. So give yourself a moment to acknowledge what you're feeling and validate yourself. I stands for imagine success. So if you're feeling heightened emotions, a great way to alleviate yourself in the moment is to imagine your success. Take a moment to visualize yourself actually crossing that finish line. This is going to help you feel way better and is going to motivate you to actually accomplish the goals that you have set out for yourself. E stands for take small steps. Once you validate yourself and you've visualized your success, now it is time to start taking small steps toward that end goal. You don't want to overwhelm yourself, so that's why you take small steps. Once again, this is going to help you get present, it's going to help you get mindful, and it's going to help you work towards your actual end goal. A stands for applaud yourself. You can't always look outside of yourself for gratification and for satisfaction, just like you can't look outside of yourself for other people to validate your emotions. When you're on the right path, you will know. When you're making changes and you're growing, you will know. And make sure you give yourself time to reward yourself. Applaud yourself for the growth that you've endured so far. L stands for lighten the load. You don't have to be a Superman, Superwoman, superhero. You don't have to try and do everything all at once. You don't have to grow and change all in one day. If you can, lighten your load, lighten your to-do list, do a little bit less so that way you can focus on being mindful and improving your mindset and doing things for yourself instead of feeling overwhelmed with everything that needs to get done. And S stands for sweeten the pot. This is just a really fancy way of saying make sure you reward yourself. When you do show up for yourself and you validate your emotions, when you do imagine success, when you do accomplish your goals, reward yourself. Give yourself that praise and that grace and that love. Only you could keep pushing you to keep doing what you're doing. As always, y'all, I hope this helps. If it did, please drop a comment down below to let me know. Stay tuned for the next part, and good luck.